Welcome to the Collectibles Matrix. My name is Toby, and today I'm going to be carrying on my Commodore 64 journey. Some of you may have seen that at Christmas I got a box of Commodore 64 games, cassettes, and I opened them on screen, had a look, and that was really where it's all started, because the aim is to get myself Commodore 64 set up at home so I can play some of these games and, have a bit of a nostalgia trip. But I'm also interested in the 8-bit world and how that works, and I want to learn about it. So what I thought today is I would have a look at what options I have for buying my Commodore 64. And of course, the place to go for that is eBay. So I've got it up on the screen here, and I wanted to have a look at some of these listings and have a talk about how you should approach buying a Commodore 64. Now, I've been doing some research. I know a bit about this anyway, and I watch quite a few Commodore 64 related YouTube channels, such as the 8-Bit Guy, and I am fascinated by this, and I just thought it's really interesting to have a look at some of these listings. So what I've done is, at the top here, in the category, I have put Commodore 64 Computer. Now it comes up on the right hand side, as you can see up here, with vintage computers. Now I'm just going to put all categories, because I've found, I'm an experienced eBayer, that sometimes people don't list them in the right categories. So we want to correct that for a start. So that has given us more results. What I'm going to do then as well is change it to highest price first. So it gives us the top ones. And because if I put the lowest price first, which would naturally seems like something you'd want to do, you end up with a whole load of games and bits and pieces you have to go through first, and it tends to be a bit of a waste of time. And I quite like to see what people think they can get for their computers. Now, this top one here is from Japan. So that is another important thing to consider here, because I want the UK only, because I'm based in the UK, and I don't want to have to ship something over and it'll probably get damaged. So we have got here listings, highest price, item location is the UK, and we're going to have a little look at some of these listings. Now, top of the list when you're checking for buying Commodore 64 is you need to make sure that it is listed as being tested or working. And there are certain ways you can describe this that kind of get away from, that maybe hide the truth. Now you can see here we've got the bread bin style. So the bread bin's this brown, older style of Commodore 64. And we'll see as we go along the C64C, which is a white and looks more like the Amiga, which was kind of leading on to the Amiga. In fact, the Commodore 64 was out for a while, for a long time, while the Amiga was out. So people were still interested in owning the Commodore 64. It's cheaper than the Amiga, and there were other reasons as well. I mean, they had loads of games already. And let's not forget there was the Commodore 128 as well. But we're not looking at those today, we're looking at the Commodore 64. This one looks in really good condition. So this is £300 to buy it now. And I think that is probably top of the range, as we saw, top of the list for a mint Commodore 64. Now, it says rare vintage Commodore 64 computer system mint. So that must mean, if we look at some of these pictures here, this is clean. The power light is on. It doesn't show the monitor, which is a shame. It's got some testing devices at the back here. And I think that is a silver label there. There is some talk about the silver labels being older, which can make them a bit more susceptible to being damaged and broken. And this is Micromate. Now that is a new power supply. Now these power supplies, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, these are modern, and they deal better with the voltage And the old power supplies on these computers, if they are used, they can fry chips and the motherboard in the Commodore 64. Now, that's because they don't handle the power, and they can just discharge it into the computer, basically. And so all the stuff I've read about these computers is you need to get a new power supply. So let's have a look at this description here. What you get: vintage Commodore 64, mint condition for its year, and good working condition, as you can see. I have typed in a small program, and it's okay, plus played a game okay, fully diagnostic test okay, usual yellowing marks, etc. As you would expect, see pictures detail saying that this computer must be one of the best available on eBay. That looks pretty good. This is what we're looking for, and we've got a Micromate C64 power supply, which it says also comes with the RF lead, making this perfect for vintage computer collector. Okay, or Commodore enthusiast, because I want to play games with it, but also, you know, just maybe do some programming as well. That'd be really cool. So this is the full package. This is top of the range. Looking, I can't see any sort of damage on it. That is really a really good one. And we've got someone from this, another one from the same owner. Okay, Mark II computer system, mint plus software. So you can see here, this is I believe the C64C. This is later than the older bread bin model, and you can see here this one's actually got the graphic symbols. And if we have a look, see the graphic symbols below the letters. They're actually on the top of the keys, which I think means it's probably the most recent Commodore 64, whereas they would put them on the underside of the keys for the older version of this particular computer. So it's a up-to-date, nicely photographed. This does it come with a power supply? Comes Commodore 64 user manual. It's got cassette software, and it's listed a few cassettes down here. None in the pictures. Power supply comes with its original power supply unit. So that, as far as I'm aware, I believe that these ones aren't really that great either. So we'd have to get another power supply for that, which adds another 50 quid onto the total, because they are quite dear. I mean, it's little guys making power supplies for old computers, so it's not like a factory type thing, and so you'd have to. They are quite expensive. So that one, I'm not after that model. I want the bread bin. This one here looks really dodgy. Image to follow, Commodore 64, buy it now. So they've put this up, £289. Really, about this product, it's just they've got their standard stuff. No Commodore 64 for sale. Condition is seller refurbished, dispatched by Royal Mail second class. Okay, we're not working here. This isn't working, is it? Incidentally, there are some TVs down here that I'm going to be looking into getting one of these as well. This one here, $29.98, has 8 watches. That is a good price for that. Let's go back. So that is really dodgy. I wouldn't ever think about buying that particular computer. Right, so then we go down here. I'm going to try and skip over some of these, this Model C versions. I'm just going to have a look at the Commodore 64 bread bins. And this one here, this could be an interesting proposition, because you've got a monitor there as well, and we've got the cassette player, which is obviously you need. It's got some joysticks. We'll go through the pictures. It's got the original box there, and that stuff down here I don't think is included, but maybe that box there is the games. Let's have a look at this. £275. We've got, let's have a look here. We've got a bit of a closer image. The computer itself looks pretty good condition. This one's even closer, with a joystick and a tape deck. Got some games. Nothing really stands out there. They've got the Sega Master System 2 down the bottom here with a bunch of records. So this is a guy that sells a lot of stuff, I reckon. And then we can have a closer look at the computer, and there you've got some damage. It doesn't look great, I'll be honest. On the top there you can see the actual logo bar there, the slip has got some damage to it. Maybe it's come off at that edge and been stuck back down. And then the actual computer itself, yeah, not great pictures. This guy's doing a lot of selling. Yeah, not sure about this one. It doesn't say that it's been properly tested. Does it have the picture? So here we have a vintage retro Commodore 64 microcomputer. In box, games joystick, tape player. I've play tested a few of these games, and the computer seems to load and boot up as it should. There are 14 boxed game to include. So there's 14 games. So he has played some games on there. So that's sometimes as good as you're going to get. Let's go back to the search results. Let's carry on down here. Let me just check. Is this opening? It is opening a new window every time we do it. Okay. This one here, nicely laid out, 250 quid. Let's have a look at that one. In working condition. See, that's important. This one's got a Murphy tape player down there. And there's an image of a game. It does puzzle me why people don't show the image of the computer actually plugged into the screen, so that there's some sort of correlation, because that could just be off the internet, this picture. Let's face it. So we've got the backs of the games, the actual Commodore 64 itself. And I am thinking of buying one of these. So the one that we look at that I really like, we may well buy. And then we'll actually see it arrive here at my house, and we can open it up and take a look at it. So this video is part of the process of collecting these computers. So hopefully we can find something. This one, I don't know. There's something about this listing which gives me the heebie-jeebies. It just doesn't feel right. Commodore 64 bread bin with 65 games bundle in working condition. Photos show the C64 working, but only one game was loaded, so the others are sold as seen. And that's a fair comment, because actually some of these games here probably have damage, and they probably don't work. So we'll just have to see. But there are a couple of standout games there. I mean, you've got the Dragon's Lair there, which is a massive game. Ghostbusters. And these are games that stand out from my own experiences, and from myth and legend, people talking about games. Turtles is in there. Spy vs Spy is quite a good game. There's a few Zap magazine cassettes as well. World Cup Year 90 compilation. Don't know that one. Okay, let's go back. Alright, we'll close that window. Okay. Boxed Commodore 64. Right. Boxed Commodore 64. C64 C. Yeah. Let's have a look at it. 250 quid. Box with games, really working condition. It does actually look quite tidy, this one. The actual computer itself, although I say that, there's a big dent on the right hand side. Is that just a bit of dirt? The cassette player is in its box, which is always a good sign. Got the old power supply, and you can see where the polystyrene has melted onto the cables as it's reacted over the years. Let's have a look here. Good condition, fully tested and working. Great for retro gamers. Yeah, questionable. Again, I'm after the bread bin model. That does look like a nice package, but again, a Commodore 64 computer just on its own. The Model C version here. Right, what's this one here? This is £200. 2 vintage Commodore 64 computer. So it's 2, and this is really quite irritating. The image is on its side. Now, it seems like a little thing, but you know, when you're making a decision to spend £200, it's a bit frustrating. You can see here, now this one, he's taking on his phone, so we've got this black outline. The actual cassette player looks really shoddy, and the computer itself looks really dirty. You think they might give it a bit of a clean, but you can see the power light is on. At least that's something. And again, another really dirty image. They're not selling me this computer. Maybe it's the way that the image is sort of dappled, maybe. You know, it's making it look like the computer is in a worse state than it is. That one's a bit better. There's a joystick with it, and a whole bunch of games, which some of them don't seem to have their cassette holders, which is quite irritating. Let's go back. Commodore 64. This one here, Commodore 64. Let's have a brief glance. You may notice that some of these, I have clicked on a few of these before, a few days ago when I was looking, but there's some new stuff in here. It's got the user manual. Looking at it, there's a big gash. There's a whole bunch of gashes on this, where the plastic has either been melted or quite badly damaged. There seem to be some fairly good games with this one. Golden Axe. That was quite a good one. Gauntlet, classic. Mission Impossible, another really big game from the time. Don't know about that. That computer itself looks pretty naff. This one here, Commodore, low serial number. Not really too worried about having a low serial number. In its box with the original, it's just pretty. I mean, there you go. That is what you need to see. That is a great example of actually plugging it in and showing that the computer works. Computer and monitor. That's what you want to see. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. That is £200. That's quite a good one. Let's just we'll light that one. It's free postage as well. Coming soon. Don't know what that is there. Commodore 64. That's the C. Right, now we're coming into a slightly different thing here. This is the C64 Maxi. It's actually an emulator, and it's something that I did think about, but only for a brief moment. I'm really very interested in playing retro gaming, the actual computers, the actual C64, not a rebranded version. And this, I mean, I love the fact that this exists. It pays great homage to one of the greatest computers ever created. And you can see here, it's pretty neat and tidy, but I'm just not interested. I want the nostalgia, the experience of putting the tapes in. I want that whole vibe. Let's carry on down here with the listings. C64C, another one. This £150 or best offer. This is the C as well. We'll go back. That one there is just the computer. The power is shown. You can buy it now for £147.50. Doesn't look in too bad a condition, does it? Again, I would like additional stuff with the computer, not just the computer. Another C64C. Now, right, we're coming into some of the games here. Vintage Load Runner computer game poster. No, thank you. And we've got Commodore 64, C64 Moonwalker. This is a 5.25 floppy disk vintage computer game. And there are, I think we will see some Cubic games pop up. That is obviously very collectible. I don't know. It looks pretty dubious. I never really played the Moonwalker game, so I don't know. It has no interest for me, really. Commodore 64, here we go. Bread bin. This one here, interesting. Let's have a look at this one. The price is coming down now. We're £129. The box is damaged, but that's to be expected. Let's have a look at what the actual computer is here. There are a few marks on the computer. It's a shame it hasn't gone closer on the computer there. It's got the old power supply. The light does appear to be on there with this strange worn cassette player there. That doesn't look great. There is a joystick and a bundle of games. Again, he's focused more on the games here. I'm not sure about this. We've got the box for the cassette player there, which is always a good thing, I reckon. You can see that that old power supply is knackered. Okay, I don't know about that one. Not feeling it. There's no bids. We've got 3 days and 23 hours left on that one. Let's have a carry on. Commodore 64, 64C, 64C, 64C. And then we come to this one here. 10 watches. A vintage £129 with 10 watches. This one looks pretty good. Again, this guy's clever. He's put it with the computer, with the monitor. Looks good. But you may have just spotted it. This doesn't actually have the little Commodore 64 logo. It's been stripped. You can see up here, look, that is gone. Doesn't mean the computer's not going to work, but that is disappointing not to have that there. I'll skip over this one for the moment. That is, I have previously looked at this one, and I've liked it. So I don't know how I feel about that. I hadn't spotted before that the little logo had been stripped off it. This is the C64C. Again, right, we've got a Commodore 64 Amiga Atari multi-classic computer. It's like one of these little emulator type jobbies. Not interested. The C64 Maxi, don't want that. Right, and Aliens the computer game, disc version, Commodore 64. I'm finding that these disc versions of these games are really rare. And if I ever see any discs for Commodore 64, I'm going to pick them up. They seem to hold a lot of value. This looks really cool. They had some lovely inserts for these disc versions I found, and that looks really great. But I'm not going to be buying that today, although it's kind of tempting, but we'll leave it for the moment. I like it. Right, we've got the Terminator T2 box and the C64C. We don't want that one. Commodore 64, just showing the screen, which is not great, really. Just a screen. Commodore 64 computer, £120. What do these people think? Do not buy, nothing will be sent. Do not buy, nothing will be sent. Great. Okay. So they've put this listing up and it says do not buy, nothing will be sent, but it's still there. They could just take the listing down. Maybe that might be a really good idea. All right, we've got Commodore 64 boxed with instructions and games. A game, PIR2A, Mind Games, and Mind Games for Commodore 64. Again, that on disc. Again, a disc, another disc here. Abacus, Cabal. Don't know about that one. Right, so we're down to £100, roughly speaking. Yeah, £100. So we've got some games, discs again. We'll skip past some of those. Maybe we'll look at some of those another time. We've got the Now this is the Mini. This is a different Commodore 64. This is it's half size or quarter sized. It's really small. The keyboard doesn't work, and it's just a little emulator that you use this joystick with. Not interested in that, but it's still fascinating that there's a market for this type of thing. And let's go carry on down. Right. C64 Retro Computer System working. Please read, it says here. What are we going to read? Let's have a look. All right. We can see here that this is in a box. Ooh, with a different joystick over there. The old power supply, the cassette player, and the manuals. He's got a picture of the screen. So that, I mean, again, that could be something he's just taken from somewhere else. We've got, and it's just close-ups of the boxes. The computer itself is very yellowed. Let's scroll down to the description that we must read. In good condition, although it does show signs of wear and discoloration due to age, storage and use over the years. The console itself does power on and displays on screen well as seen in photos. However, the tape player makes loud squeaking noises and just look like it's had better days. The tape deck is possibly an easy fix for someone with the right knowledge. Okay, so the tape deck is pretty dodgy. We won't do that one. It's certainly interesting to have a look at that though. We have another C64C there. And some more games. I think you see these 4 images. It's obviously the same seller there. Pretty nice setup. Vintage Commodore 64 bundle, original box, various used items. Now this has got 5 bids on with 4 days to go, £72. Let's have a quick look at this one. It is the C, so I'm not interested, but the tape deck looks pretty good. Got 2 joysticks. I see this quick shot joystick here. I had that one when I was a kid. I also had one of these. I think I had 3 of these. So I had a whole bunch of joysticks. That was 70. We've got a vintage C. That's a right partially tested Commodore 64 computer. It's partially tested. It's got the old power pack. The light is on. There's a big gash. Can you see that? He's got a better picture. Ah, here we go. I don't want to buy a computer with a big gash. Now, I know that there are people out there, experts, that would be able to fix this type of thing, but I just really don't have the time to do that. So, unfortunately, no. I'm not going to buy it now at £80. That is pretty low though. We've got 25 games here. We've got a Commodore 64 untested. You see, I'm not going to buy an untested version, as we've learned. They're probably not working. Well, that's got the power on. It's got 4 days. It's £65 to start, and it's got 0 bids. It looks pretty dirty, I'll be honest with you. It does have the tape player and 1 game. Don't know about that one. Right, we've got more games. A computer here which is missing a key. See, we've got others. As the price is getting lower here, we've got more stuff coming in on the listings. Commodore 64. Now that one's busy. This one did draw my eye, and partly because it's got quite a few bids on. I always find that that's almost reassuring when you see these listings with bids on. Again, it is the C64C, which I don't want, but it looks pretty good. I like the way it's laid out. The box has obviously taken a battering, and I'm kind of interested to see how this one goes. So I'm gonna like that one just to see what price goes on that. Let's carry on down. We've got the Mini there. Some more games. Time Traveller. Some of these vintage games. A bread bin missing some keys. Another bread bin here. Now this one, not tested, has got 8 bids at £37. Again, That's probably refurbishers looking to sell it on or do it up. There's actually a top here. Retro Commodore 64 hoodie, size large. Vintage computer fan. Actually, I quite like that. Although I'm not big in the red. But that's quite cute. You start to see things like that. Commodore 64 computer with manual, power supply with games and manuals. Parts only. There you go. That is broken, that one. As we get down here, I don't suspect we're going to find much in these zones. We've got a C64C there, some more games. Right, we're kind of coming to the end here, I think. We've got some old ads mounted and framed, which is kind of interesting. We've got Commodore 64, the manual, all going for pretty good money. Commodore 64 bread bin computer. Right, what have we got here? Now, it doesn't say tested. It's 4 parts, not working condition. There you go. So that is what we're facing as we come down the listings. And there you go, boxes. Okay. Right, I think we're basically down the bottom. Got some boxes. Zap magazine. I'm going to buy some Zap magazines. That is the plan for another video, another time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this one and see how it goes. So we've got 4 days left on that. What I'll do is I'll make another video when we actually buy one and explain which one I bought, and we can then see as I unbox it and see if it works and play it, and maybe we would have learnt some lessons from spending some time on eBay. Guys, I hope you found the video interesting. Please, if you've got any comments or advice, put it in down below. That would be awesome. Again, this is just the beginning of the journey. We've got a lot more coming about the Commodore 64, but also there's going to be some other stuff on my channel, including looking at the new Marvel Legends Kenner products. Their new 3 3/4 inch figures, which are really cool. Guys, so thanks for watching, and I will catch up with you very soon.